told. Thanks, Amy. Okay, students' academic language development in their native language facilitates their academic language development in English. Conversely, students' academic language development in English informs their academic language development in their native language. You want to know what I think about that? Well, I think that means that they work together. They're symbiotic. One language helps the other. If they know their own language very well, they're going to learn English better. Thanks for sharing. All right, Lance. All right.
Students learn language and culture through meaningful use and interaction. And to me, that just means if you sit in your house and read a book on how to learn language, it won't mean anything until you go out and put it into action. You need to get out and immerse yourself into the language and culture.
Awesome, thank you.
Students draw on their metacognitive, metalinguistic, and metacultural awareness to develop proficiency in additional languages. And I love that because if you can't think about what you're thinking or think about your language, then it's difficult to learn another language. So thinking about what you're thinking is key, I guess.
Thank you. Anyone else burning to share? All right, we have one more.
Students' access to instructional tasks requiring complex thinking is enhanced when linguistic complexity and instructional support matches the level of language proficiency. That to me, I talked about earlier, is if your instructional tasks or instruction is developmentally appropriate to where the level of language proficiency is, you're going to do better.
Thank you so much for sharing. We're going to go right into our next activity. So the quotes can go back into the bag. However, I want you, the guiding principles of language development from Wida are on a one-page document, all 10 of those guiding principles. And if you noticed on any one of your quotes, what did you have at the bottom? The research behind all of the principles of language development. So I'm happy to get you the one-pager. I did not print it for everyone today, but if you put me a note on the parking lot or something, we'll make sure we get them for your school or your team or your anything. All right? Now, if someone will just hold on to those bags, we'll come around and collect them. The next task is, and you're going to stay in groups, but you're now going to get into, if you had groups of 10 initially, now you're going to get in groups of 5. So you're going to stay where you're sort of at, but if you don't have a group of 5, can you come up here so we can get you a group of 5? Yeah, and you might want to get one more, or someone can do each task. That's right. is going to be awesome. If you would make sure right now, you number off with your group 1 through 5. All right, simple task. Moving on. If you are a number 1, raise your hand. If you're number 2, raise your hand. If you're number 3, raise your hand. 4, 5. Awesome. All of you should have a number. This activity is called With the Heart, Mind, and Soul of. And you need to be having the discussion with your team. So number 1, here's your task. Number 1s, describe the photo. Go. Your task is complete. Number 2, raise your hand. Number 2s. With the heart, mind, and soul of a poet, describe the photo. Go. Soul of a mathematician, describe the photo. a biologist describe the photo? Okay, biologists, your task is complete. Number 5s, raise your hand. We don't have any number 5s. Oh, here we go. Number 5s. With the heart, mind, and soul of a historian, describe the photo. Go. To describe the photo for me. Number 1, describe the photo.
All right, so we have pictured a lovely columbine flower. It is a bluish purple color. The columbine is the focus of the photo while there are green plants in the background. It has five petals that are protruding that are a purple color. They are longer and thinner. It has 5 other petals that are shorter and a little bit thicker that are half white and half purple. And then in the center we have a yellow pollen.
Number 2s, with the heart, mind, and soul of a poet who's wanting to share their poem. Oh, it's Judy. Oh, I need a poet.
Purple, pretty flower.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else want to add to their poetry? To the poetry that... All right, Harrison.
It's pretty.
Inner part is itty bitty. The color is wild, opposite of mild. It attracts a lot of bees. I hope they stay away from me.
All right, with the heart, mind, and soul of a mathematician. Not everyone at once. Not everyone at once. Who is a mathematician in this group?
We're going to look at this picture based on scale distance. I'm going to be a mathematician and talk monotone because we know that that's how all mathematicians are. Sorry, crack. Using scale, we believe that Nathan is approximately 6 foot tall. Therefore, we can predict that the height of this photo is approximately 12 feet. If Nathan were to lay down, we could predict at the bottom of it, we're 9 feet. Using the Pythagorean theorem, and a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we could determine the distance across the photo.
Wow. Thank you, mathematician. With the heart, mind, and soul of a biologist. Who's a biologist up here? Yes.
The flower is brightly colored to attract bees and other insects that would then help pollinate or germinate the flower. I know. Yes, the columbine grows very well in colder climates. However, if we live down here where it gets really hot, partial shade would be good. And they're perennial flowers, which means they grow year-round.
Thank you, biologist. Okay, with the heart, mind, and soul of a historian.
So back in the spring of 1864, this flower's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather witnessed a battle between the Union Army and the Plains Native American tribe. And in charge of the Union Army at the time was General Tecumseh such and such. And he had lost his responsibilities in Grant's Army of Virginia because he couldn't lay off the moonshine. And in a very bloody battle, this flower's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather is crying new age tears of sorrow. And this flower feels those tears through the years.
Thank you, historian. So, that activity, we actually in Madison did that activity with an orange, and I realized I'm not a poet. However, how many of you were outside your content area when you were using with the heart, mind, and soul of? And thinking about language outside your own content area in a different content area that may not be your specialty, for me is somewhat difficult. I am not a mathematician. I'm more comfortable with language arts, even though I'm not really a poet. And so, really highlighting the features of academic language. The features of academic language, usually, we talk on the word phrase level. We talk about what vocabulary terms we want students to own. And sometimes I think we forget to get to the sentence level and the discourse level of the text or textbooks that we're putting in front of the students. So how long are we talking for? What does that register sound like? So I'm not going to get too deep into academic language, but the whole purpose of with the heart, mind, and soul of activity was, number one, was really standard one in the ELD framework, which is the language, the social and instructional language. You were just asked to describe the photo. With the heart, mind, and soul of a poet, we were using standard 2. The language of language arts. Okay, I'm hoping you're catching on here. Number 3 is you were mathematicians. Standard 3 in the ELE framework is the language of mathematics. Standard 4 with the mind of a biologist is the language of, and finally the historian is the standard 5, the language of social studies, okay? So those are the 5 ELD standards. Okay, and we'll talk more about it as soon as we get back from a 15-minute break. Will you please do something for me though? Please be back at 9:20 in your seats. You can sit back down and be ready to go. Thank you.